Maybe if you've got to go away, don't think I can take the pain. Won't you stay another day? Hold on, leave me alone like this. Don't say it's the final kiss. Stay another day. I think you should have joined in.
That was literally one of the most beautiful things
Stop
I've
it.
ever seen. No, I honestly nearly started crying, Tony.
Oh.
The thing with Stay Another Day, firstly, 30 years.
I know. I wasn't even born when I wrote it.
I can't remember it first time around at all either.
No, we're very lucky band. Very lucky to have that. It's a wonderful thing. It's very surreal, and we don't really know any different now, But 30 years. I get called out every Christmas sort of thing, but I think this is my last Christmas now. It's got to be. I think they'll all stop playing it after this. But...
Nobody will ever stop playing it. The thing with this song, though, it wasn't meant to be a Christmas song, was it?
No, not at all. No, with the production in the end, no, it wasn't. It was written in August, and when you read about the Christmas songs, a lot of them was written around August time for writing the new albums and that. And no, it wasn't. And then Tom came into the studio after we'd done the demo, and he went, "That's Christmas number one." And I went, "You what?" I said, "You can't release that, Tom." Obviously, that's how, I've told so many people. I said, "You can't release that, Tom. It's quite a personal song, mate. We're just going to put it on like the B-side, yeah? No one will know. No one will ever hear that song," and no one did. And that was sort of, that was it, really.
That has become your legacy, that song, hasn't it? That is the song you're most remembered for as a band.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it's very hard to know, we're sort of inside the bubble. But, I think so. I think it's because it's Christmas and it pops up every year, doesn't it? It's like it got to number one, the public liked it, and then it sort of got sealed in this Christmas time warp, and it takes people back, and reminds people of so many different things. And there's so many songs out there that are great. So, I'm very humbled. It's lovely to have it up there along with the greats, the big boys. Yeah. It's a wonderful thing.
But it is. I mean, you just playing it there, and I honestly, it nearly brought me to tears, because the message, when you actually strip it back and when you know what the song's about, it is an incredibly it's it's about something really traumatic that happened in your life.
It did. I mean, I laugh now. It is traumatic, and as you play it and you get carried away, and obviously I think of Ollie and stuff because he inspired it. But it is traumatic, and it came from a place of pain. And I think sometimes when you get there, when a song comes from somewhere like that, you get a bit of honesty with it, where there's, I think some of the lyrics are quite honest. And I sort of turned it into like an ambiguous love song, but, without thinking, it just sort of happened. And people liked it. I mean, Tom came in and he liked it. And I thought, okay, well, don't mention it to anyone. And then the record company heard it, and then they really liked it. And it just started, people heard it. And I guess, I don't know if there's a sing-along value or something. And people really liked it. And then, they did release it for Christmas. I'm grateful they did. And it's stuck around. But there is a nice message for people in there. It's quite ambiguous, the lyrics in the verses and that, so hopefully there's something in there that means something to someone. And that was the idea of it. But it was quite funny because I remember writing, I talk, don't I? God,
I like it.
Stop
I like it. You're really going to interview us, dream.
But I had the melody.
Show us on the piano.
And I couldn't. What's it? Just that basically. But I had it with a string, and I couldn't find a B part to it. So I thought, right, where do I get? Because it kind of just resolved.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, well, that's sort of the end of it. And I went around and I potted about the house and done stuff, but I couldn't find a a B part to it. So when I wrote the lyrics, then they had to end after each line as well, you know. And they did. So they're 3 separate things, and then on the next verse, it's 2 separate things. It kind of, it's not really a fluid song. It doesn't feel like. And I think it was quite hard to sing because the verses.
It's quite high, isn't it? The chorus.
It is, yeah. I go down an octave.
I noticed that. You took it under.
Yeah, but Brian had a range on him. Like he's a tenor, but he's a high tenor.
Yeah.
Where I'm a fiver. No, he's a really high tenor. So I wrote it in C major, but we had to transpose it to D major for Brian.
Yeah.
Because he's way up there. And he could probably go higher as well.
I want to talk to you, though, about not just the song, but the video. The video is one of the greatest pieces.
What one?
I was saying the other day.
There?
The what? Oh, come on. What one, Tony? The one with you
white,
guys.
The white, yeah.
The big white coats, the fur hoods.
Yeah.
And it has been made a pastiche.
It has, isn't it? Well, it's become like a sort of, I don't know what the word, like a caricature, isn't it? The white Parkers and that, and things like that just happen. You can't plan it; you just do it for laugh. I thought it was very Boney M. Do you remember Boney M?
Yes, Boney M. Yeah.
I thought that was very Boney M, and it's like it's like the song. No one will really notice it and that. But they did, and people like it, and it has become iconic, and it has, that's why I don't, because it's such, it came from such perhaps a dark memory that, and it's now quite jovial and quite nice.
Yeah.
It's quite nice. And for people to say it reminds them of Christmas, that is really a really high sort of accolade. Christmas is the best time of the year, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I'm just glad that Tom, who was a marketing genius, he saw it. I didn't. I've got to be honest. It was August. I was really sweaty in the studio. It was a ballad for the B-side, but he saw Christmas.
It's really interesting with this whole boy band thing. It's starting to really sort of like, the 90s is coming back. So there's a big sort of like interest, and there's a BBC documentary coming out, which I know you took part in.
There is, yeah.
Boy Bands Forever.
Boy Bands
it's
Forever.
Coming out. I know, I'm in it as well.
Oh, yeah.
And so it's really interesting because at the time, East 17, you were the sort of like the boy band. There was Take That, and there was East 17.
Yeah.
And you were like the street boy band.
Yeah.
What was it like for you guys on the inside of that?
It was a bit crazy. It was fun. I mean, I know there was a lot of people complain about it and stuff. It was just crazy. And if you accept it, and acceptance is one of the really powerful tools we've got. If you can accept it that it's going to be a bit mad, it's kind of it's like a two-edged sword. It's mad because you're successful.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people out there that won't experience that. And I do sometimes, it's easy to moan, but I do get a bit peeved when I see people moaning about it and going, oh, it was so hard. It's not really. Hard is working down a sewer with a hole in your welly in winter. We was in very comfortable prisons, as I used to call them, but it is a very unnatural environment.
And you guys were very young as well.
We were young. We were kids, weren't we? And then one minute you're a kid, and then the next minute you're having sort of like boardroom meetings about the business and that, and you're thinking, well, this ain't me. This is really boring. Because we got into it because we liked music, and we liked music, and we were kind of used to hang around at night time. But then you get into the music industry, and you don't do much music. You're sort of doing interviews and stuff, and it's very early morning, so it's very different, and you have to kind of adjust. And I think we done our best with it. We coped as much as we could, and then times change musically, so we had gone through the dance stage at the beginning and all that, and then you had the Britpop phenomenon, which was fantastic, and that kind of ended the whole boy band thing.
Yeah, it did. The guitar
in one go. I did kind of try and adapt musically with songs like Someone to Love and that, which was guitar led. But yeah, it was kind of, and then moments go, and then you realise you was just a moment. But it's lucky to have had a moment. So
is it sad when it finishes?
Is it sad when it's finished? Well, it was a long time ago, but I think you're so tired and worn out that that it does. I mean, when it finishes, it kind of implodes.
Yes.
It's nice where you think, oh, we're going to just go away and we're going to take 6 months off, aren't we? No, that's not what's going to happen. What's going to happen is we had this hoo-ha in the newspapers, and then they was jumping all over it.
What with the Brian thing?
Yeah, with that
was
and
massive.
then that was huge, you know. So that was a lot of pressure on him. But it would have been nice if we just walked away. But you know, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Until it isn't.
Yes, it's life, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it is cyclic, secular.
It is.
That
it
the
is
word?
cyclic or
Cyclic.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Come-aroundery.
Yeah, come-aroundery.
It
Come-aroundery again.
And things come round, and you know, like you say, the 90s are sort of popping back now. There's the boy band documentary coming out. So
What was your favourite memory of that time?
meeting famous people.
Who was the one?
I really. Who did I meet? Well, I mean, I sung with Phil Collins.
Shut up.
No,
That's
seriously,
pretty cool.
seriously, and it was pretty mental. And he was ringing my house, and he wanted to do a duet in France on some TV show because we were huge in France. So he obviously wanted to tap into that. But at that point, the band had let Brian go, who's the singer.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, it's only me then, and I had to sing Little Red Corvette with him in France, which went great. But I was so starstruck, you know, Phil ringing up, and I'm like, hi Phil, what key do you want to do it in?
So mad. Because you guys were always really down to earth, weren't you? I remember that about you.
Yeah, I think so.
You were like just lads from Walthamstow.
Yeah, well, we were.
Yeah.
We were, so we couldn't really pretend to be anything. And the way it had worked, we'd come through the dance side, so we hadn't really done loads of gigs and built up a fan base like the good old-fashioned way. We'd kind of come through the dance side, or the dark side.
Yeah. I want to ask you as well, I want to ask you about your Ivor and Novella Award that you won in 95.
My Ivor the Engine Award.
What was that like when you won that?
Well, that was really surreal because I don't tell anyone, but I hadn't heard of it. So
I don't think a lot of us had when we got in the music industry, and then it's like, that's the most prestigious award you can win.
Yeah, but you're winning something you don't know anything about, so it's not, you know. I won a few awards, but we was never really an award band. But that one was like, you know, it was a bit of an accolade there, and people do. I've got it at home now. I'm just thinking it's at home. It's a bit wobbly. I need to fix it. But that was great. It was fantastic. It was one of those things that happen once in a lifetime if you're lucky, like a number one, and then a Christmas number one. I mean, this was our only number one that we really had in this country, especially, and it was a wonderful thing. But there was a sense of, for me, a little fire went out once we achieved it. It was like, because I just thought, we're not going to beat that. We're never going to beat that, you know. And it was like it came with a bit of guilt because we had a song that went to number one for 5 weeks. To beat that now, we got to go to number one for 6 weeks, and that's not going to happen. So everything's going to be less now, and everything's going to be, it's just going to be downhill for me. That's kind of how my mind was working.
Yeah.
But I'm so glad I got a number one, not just for me, but for the group as well, because I was the principal songwriter, and Take That was storming it, like having ones every time they released a single.
Was there rivalry?
Was there rivalry? No, not really. We just came
Did
out
you
at the
steal
same
their
time.
costumes backstage?
Did we?
So they couldn't go out?
I don't think we'd wear their costumes.
No, we just hide them so they couldn't.
Yeah. No, we was never that close. They was always kind of quite distant and protected.
Yeah, I see.
You know, where I don't think we were. But they was also, they'd be there first and then we'd arrive second. So it was a bit of fun with the radio stations as well. You know, it was all a bit of fun. But it was absolute chaos. I think sometimes we walked around a bit cool, but I've got to be honest, I don't think we had a clue what was going on. Really, it was so busy. But then that's the price of being a successful boy band thing, you know. At the time, it was a thing. We done a thing, as they say.
It's like a roller coaster. You're strapped in and you just have to go until the end. That's what happens.
It was. And I remember saying to Tom and the management, going, look, I really need a break, because I was going in, and when it was over, I'd have to write more. And it was just, and I said, I just need a break. And they were like, no, can't stop it. If you stop it, that's it. It's over. And I think you can't put that guilt on a 20-year-old. I'm going to like ruin everyone's lives just because I need a break. But it was a bit like that. It was very much a roller coaster, and it was very fast and very chaotic. And I remember we got to a point where I'd get off a plane somewhere, and I'd have to shake their hand and listen to them speak to know what country I was in, because you was travelling so much. And I thought, oh, okay, we're in Sweden. Is this? We're in Sweden, or we're in Germany now. It was that crazy, you know.
Yeah.
And well, that's a wonderful thing to experience. I don't think a lot of bands experience that now.
No, and the screaming. I mean, the screaming was mad.
I've got tinnitus
from the screaming.
Yeah, I think, or was it my mum screaming at me to behave? I think, and the loud music and that.
Yeah.
So at night time, sometimes I'll wake up and I've just got like beep.
Wow.
And that's 30 years later.
Yeah. It's mad though. You kept Mariah, All I Want from Christmas Is You off to number 1.
Yeah.
And you also made Michael Jackson postpone the delay of Earth Song.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
I mean,
I know. Talk about cause trouble.
For major A-list American artists.
Yeah.
I love that for you guys.
Oh, it's amazing. And I mean, Mariah's song it's iconic, isn't it? And it's so Christmassy, but yeah, we was out there storming it, and it was good fun. It was good fun at the time, and it was crazy, and you got to enjoy it. We had no idea it was going to do what it did and go on and become what it did.
Do you still see the guys
from the band?
Yeah.
No, not now. No, we worked together about 10 years ago. I haven't seen Brian. I think I saw him a couple of times in about 20 years. No. Don't see anyone now. I think that happens in bands, doesn't it?
You spend so much time together.
And so closely, and when bands split up, they implode quite badly. And I think, it's like people just... I couldn't see me now getting back on stage, not for a while. Not at the moment, I don't think. Gosh,
you're still in the music industry, aren't you?
Yeah, I still do music, but not so much. I do a lot of music at home. I write it for me now. I do little bits, and it's nice, and you can play it for you and just whatever. That's kind of just what I do now, yeah. But I just potter about. I'm writing a book at the moment, so I'm doing less music and more writing. So I want to write this sort of magical musical book and have that finished.
Is it true you didn't read a book until you were in your 50s?
Not technically, no, because that sounds like I can't read.
No.
I'd read books,
yes.
But I had never read a novel or, a book.
What do you mean a book?
Like a book. Someone's written a book and you pick it up and read it, like at the beach or something. I'd never done that.
So what were you reading? Just magazines?
Magazines or music or watching TV or watching movies. I think you do one or the other. I watch a lot of movies because you can watch a movie in 1.5 hours, or you can read the book and it takes me 2 months. But yeah, so I got into reading books and I love it. I've read loads of books now, and I'm sort of using that now.
What genre are you book-wise?
I like fantasy. I like vampires. I like gothic, mystery, something that makes the brain work. But I've always said it's like music. A good song's a good song. Doesn't really matter the genre, and a good book is a good book. It doesn't really matter. I'm not that into horror, because I usually read at night on my own, and I don't want to scare myself.
You'll just scare yourself, Tony. I know what you're like. You're scared of the dark and the ghosts, all of that stuff.
I'll just put this light on just while I'm reading this bit. So I've been writing, and so I want to finish this book. I've got 3 books in mind that I want to do, and that's probably what I'm going to do now in my older years.
I hear you. Is it true? I read a really odd fact about you.
Oh, I'm sure there's loads.
But this one was very surreal. Were you at Reggie Kray's funeral as a pallbearer?
Yeah, I was, yeah.
How come?
He contacted me in the 90s for a friend that knew him in Walthamstow. So I went and had a meeting with him.
Wow.
Not a meeting. Yeah, he wanted to see me, so I went to see him, and...
in prison, obviously.
Yeah.
And what was he like?
Quite small.
Really?
Yeah.
Did he have an aura?
Oh, yes. Yeah, he had an aura.
I bet.
It was like when he walked out, it was like a little mini Elvis came out. He had his shirt undone and these gold chains. And I didn't know they were still alive at the time, you know, because they were kind of, you know, sort of
mythical.
Iconic, mythical, yeah. And I just remember he was very small. He was probably 5'7", maybe.
Bet you didn't
10
say
and a
that
half
to his
stone.
face.
I didn't say that, no. I had a game of ping pong with him. And I'm not joking, right? I was beating him it was about 13-6 to me.
Yeah.
And then he's won a point or something and he's gone, right, what's the score? It's 15-8 to me, isn't it? And I thought, yes, it is. It's actually... I thought, you've actually gone through life saying what you want, haven't you? And I'm not going to argue. And I was like, wow, that is so not the score. But I didn't say anything because I knew when to and when not to.
Well, this
and
is what happens when you grow up in the streets, Tony. Yeah, you know.
It's 15-8 to me, isn't it? Yes, it is, Reg. Yes, it is. It really is. Would you like another orange juice?
And so you became friends?
Yeah, we spoke a few times and he... wanted to write. He was a poet. It would keep his mind busy. So we kind of penned a song together called Falling Rain, which was a song that he wrote because he said when he went out on the prison, sometimes you wouldn't go out in the prison yard if it was raining because the guards didn't want to get a cold. So he goes, he'd never really been under the rain in I think it was 30 years for him. So he had wrote a poem called Falling Rain. And I just put some music to it and stuff, and got a chap to sing in it. It was lovely. It was very poignant, you know. And he'd gone through life. He was hanging on. People would never let him forget, you know, whether rightly or wrongly, of his past.
Yeah.
So he tried to move on. He'd obviously learnt his lesson.
Yeah.
And he was quite active in trying to keep people out of prison. But you had these kind of people that really admired, you know, because they were romanticised.
They were romantic. I mean, there was films, books, left, right, and centre.
And it's, you know, it's not really what happened.
Yeah.
It's people romanticising it, and it was part of the swinging 60s, and I think it all got blown out of proportion. You know, at the end of the day, they were two very naughty boys, and one of them was a bit naughtier than the other, and it was, you know, not good. But he, you know, it was nothing he could do, and he was kept in there, but we wrote a song together and stuff. I did want to release it one day, but I don't think it's right.
Yeah, doesn't feel right.
No, it doesn't. No, it's on my piano at home.
It's mad. Getting back, I'm going to have to let you go very soon.
All right.
But getting back to Stay Another Day, it's being released, I believe, on a limited edition.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, they've done a little mix of it from I think it's an amalgamation of like the live show from Steam tour back in 1995 when I was 10 stone lighter than I am now. It's great. And they've done that. And I said, I don't really just want to release it. You know, I won't name other songs that are doing it at Christmas. I said, I don't want to take something. I said, if we can give something back, and we're doing it for a charity, for music therapy, because I really believe in music therapy, and there's a charity out there. Am I allowed to mention it?
Yeah, of course.
It's Nordoff and Robbins. Yeah. And they go and help people that have some, you know, mental troubles and that... and it really helps them, and it helps their family. And what I want to do is get the message out there, because there's lots of people that don't know that music can heal and music can help on a whole different level. And I've been working with this girl, Ruby, and she's wonderful, and she was having trouble at school, but now she's a bassist and music's really helped her. So we're doing it with that, and then £1 from every single goes towards them. So, but more importantly, you know, wonderful people like you, I've said it on here, and people can go, oh, what's that, music therapy? And then if they look it up, it might help them and their family and stuff. And it's just a wonderful thing, and that's kind of what Christmas is about, isn't it? That and food.
It is. That and food. And it is, music is the language of the heart, and the way we heal is through going into the heart, and music is the perfect way to do that.
It really, and scientifically as well, how it reacts with the brain waves, and it's so connected to our emotions, and it drags us back in time, like scent is they
Yes.
say is the only other one that brings you back like that. But music is such a human gift.
Yeah.
That, you know, we've got the rhythms, and it's something really quite big, because everything, the whole, you know, all the universe, without going too deep, it's like moves in rhythm and stuff. It's all timing and things. So it's wonderful, and music is a wonderful thing. You know, it's blessed that we've kind of been around music, and you yourself, you work around music now.
We're blessed.
We
are absolutely blessed.
So
I have the best job in the world. I love my job.
Wonderful.
I just love
great.
it. I get to talk to people like you, and I get to watch you play it, and it's like it's amazing. Music it keeps me alive.
Yeah,
it keeps me alive.
And there's a lot worse things you could do, isn't there?
Oh my gosh, yeah. I mean, you know, I'm really grateful. Stayanotherday.co.uk. That's how we get the single.
That's how you get the single, and you can download it. And I'll be doing a couple of performances. I think I'm doing a performance with. I am definitely doing it with a choir. There's going to be a string section and a conductor. So I'm really going to put them all off. It's going to be great, and that's in a big church in Chelsea that Charles Dickens got married in.
Oh, that is very nice. So Christmassy.
How Christmassy!
I mean, you're going to have the ghosts of Christmas, past, present, and future there with you. It's going to be amazing. I'm going to ask you. I have to let you go, but could you please give us one more performance of Stay Another Day? Is that possible?
Yeah. Well, yeah. Maybe if you've got to go. Do you want to sing with me?
I'll try.
Okay. Maybe if you've got to go away, don't think I can take the pain. Won't you stay another day? Oh, don't leave me alone like this. Don't say it's the final kiss. Stay another day.
That is so beautiful.
That made my glasses steam up.
I know. It nearly made me cry. Look, they're all clapping in there.
So,
it is, right? Wasn't that beautiful?
That's one way of ruining it, isn't it?
That is literally beautiful. I'm sorry I added the stay house.
Oh no, that's lovely, because they're the bit people like them because they sound kind of distant. And stay now.
Stay now.
I know,
yeah, sort
awesome.
of out of tune though, and I thought I was ruining it, so I stopped.
My whole very short career, don't worry about it.
Tony, it has been a joy and a pleasure to speak to you, and I am so happy that you have re-released this. It is one of those tunes that is not only uplifting but nostalgic at the same time, and every single Christmas it comes around, and we are grateful that you wrote it.
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you. It's just, you know, sometimes I think songs are up there in the atmosphere, and we kind of we pull them down. You know, I think they're all up there.
Yeah. That's your job as a songwriter.
Our job, and I think I just pulled this one, and it was a bit of a corker.
Well done.
Oh,
you caught a great one. Thank you.
Thanks very much.
Virgin Radio.